Hello and welcome to the first video on the channel, and this is my F1 2024 predictions. We come into the new season after an extremely dominant year from Red Bull Racing, a record-breakingly dominant year from them and Max Verstappen, who won 19 races this year. And obviously we can expect more of the same next year. But the question is, will Red Bull actually win? There were questions last year whether certain drivers would lose their positions. Logan Sargent, Sergio Perez and more. But the only person that has left their seat actually doesn't start until 2025, and that is Lewis Hamilton. As obviously we didn't expect this, and we see Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari in the 2025 season, which was very unexpected, took the media by storm. You can see all of these comments. Everybody was shocked. You'd never see this happening. But it has, and it really means that there could be lots of transfers next year. But what does this mean? Well, what it means is that Carlos Sainz has got a lot to prove this season. Standing next to his new car for next season, he knows that he's got to really put in a performance to show the other teams that they want him and they need him to improve their team, because he will be leaving next season. It also means that Mercedes need to step up their game and release an amazing car that can really help Ferrari next season, and this is what they've came up with. A very carbon fibre based car that should be able to have all of the mechanics that it needs to have a very good season this season and next season. Meaning Lewis Hamilton can have a very good goodbye season at Mercedes after, I believe, 12 years. Not just Mercedes and Ferrari have released their new car, so have McLaren, who did very well near to the end of the season last season. Not very good at the start. But Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri were having amazing races, and it actually looks like that they can contest with Red Bull, and their car is looking quite nice. But does this actually mean that they can do well next season? Well, we'll see. The car that Red Bull have come up with, the RB20, follows the same suit as Mercedes, very carbon fibre based, all over the car for enhanced mechanics to get them, even if it's possible, as dominant as they were last season. Is it possible? Well, on to my predictions. This is what I'm predicting. We are going to start off with the Drivers' Championship, and I'm going to predict that Nico Hulkenberg is going to come in 20th. Haas having a lacklustre season last season, and Hulkenberg somehow getting in 16th, outperforming his teammate Magnussen. But I don't think Haas can do it this year. I just don't think that they've got the strength, and I think Nico Hulkenberg is just on the decline. So 20th for him. Next up is 19th, and as much as I love Logan Sargent, I'm going to have to put him in 19th. I don't think he'll be as bad as last season. I think he'll score quite a few points this season, but I don't think he's there yet. I think the young American still needs a bit more experience, but I think he'll be a star one day. But I'm predicting 19th for him this season, just on the basis that he's new and he's not quite there yet. In 18th, I have decided to put Yuki Tsunoda. As much as I hate to do it, and he had an amazing season getting 14th last year, I just don't think he can do it again 2 years in a row. With Daniel Ricciardo as his teammate, I think that Ricciardo will massively overwhelm him and do way better than Yuki will. I still think he'll have an okay season though, getting points. In the 17th spot, we're going to have Kevin Magnussen, who the second has... And I don't think he's going to do very well either. I think he'll do better than Nico Hulkenberg, unlike last season. I don't know why, I just think because he's younger he's going to do better. But I think Haas are going to have a very bad season. And with Gunther Steiner gone, they've got no positives. In 16th, the man driving for Alfa Romeo Stake Sauber F1 team Kick, Zhou Guanyu. I think he's gonna have an okay season, a bit better than last season. But I think Bottas is going to outperform him. But I think he's still going to have a few impressive races, maybe a few top 7s, top 8s. But I don't think he's going to be terrible at all. In 15th place, we have Esteban Ocon. I think he's going to have a shocking year. And I think one of the Alpines are going to lose their seat this year. I don't see Alpine doing too well this year because they weren't amazing last season. And they were clashing, the drivers were just against each other, wasn't letting them overtake, Ocon was getting frustrated and so was Gasly. And on the back of his teammate in 14th we have Gasly, who came 11th last season, had an alright season, just a bit better than Ocon, but I think the two will also be after one another again. And I just think Gasly's a little bit better than Ocon. I don't think he'll lose his seat, but I do think one of them will. So if it is him, then it is. But I just don't see him doing amazingly this season, and I think that he'll be okay though. Next up, we have Lance Stroll in 13th. As much as he was okay at the start of last season, I don't see him being able to live up to any standards. I think he'll just be on the decline. He just start the new season how he ended the last one, and I think Alonso will be way better than him again. I don't see him improving too much. He might, and he might prove me wrong, but that's the same with all of these predictions. In 12th place, we've got Alex Albon, who came about that last season, just a little bit better this season, I'm predicting. I think he's going to do well. A few good races he'll have, I'm sure. I know he likes Silverstone, and I think Mr. Albon will do quite well. But Williams as a team, I think, will do average again. It's not been great for them in the last few years. I do hope that his form picks up, and I hope he does better than 12th, but I just don't see it happening. And in 11th, we have Valtteri Bottas. And I think he'll be very decent this season. I think it's just going to be a bit of a breakthrough for him. I think in the Alfa Romeo Stakes Sauber F1 team kit car, he will be quite good. I think he'll get a few top 6 finishes. I think he'll do alright. And in 10th place, we have the Honey Badger, Daniel Ricciardo, who's just coming into the new seat at Visa Cash Out Racing Bulls, which was formerly known as AlphaTauri, and he did quite well in the races that he had last season. He could only manage 17th, but that was still better than 5 other drivers, and I think he'll just get better this year, and then maybe he'll get snapped up by a bigger team. Next up in 9th, we have Mr. Consistent Fernando Alonso. He doesn't stop, does he? I just think he'll be a bit worse this year. Nowhere near as bad as his teammate Stroll, but I just think he never stops. He doesn't. I don't think he'll retire this year. I think he'll give it a few more years. But he's so consistent. His defences are still immaculate, and I just don't see him declining this season on the back of how good he was last season. In 8th, I've gone with a bit of a shock for Sergio Perez, and I think that this season it will be the season he loses his seat, and I think he'll have a horrific season. Maybe a few third places, a few podium finishes, but I just don't see him winning next season. I don't see him coming second like he did this season. I just see him getting worse and worse, losing his confidence, and then maybe picking up a few podiums elsewhere, but not an amazing season for him. In 7th, we have George Russell, just improved on last season is what I think is going to happen. I think he'll have a very decent season, but I still think he'll be outperformed by Lewis. But I do think that the man, the meme, the legend, won't stop what he's doing. I think he'll keep having some very consistently good seasons, and I just think he'll keep being himself, which is good to see in the sport. Next up, in 6th, we have a big improvement for Oscar Piastri, who came, I think it was 7th or 8th or something, 8th, 9th last season, and I think he'll do much better. I think he might even get his first race win. He's just got a lot of potential. He won that sprint last time, I think, in Qatar or something like that, and he was amazing that weekend, and he didn't stop it with the double podiums with Lando. I just don't see it stopping. He was amazing last season. He will be next season. In 5th place, just like last year, we have Charles Leclerc, and I think he'll have a very similar season to what he did last season, but hopefully he will get his win this season. I predict that he will. Here he is repping the new Ferrari suit, and I think it looks quite good on him, and I just think he'll have quite a good, decent season. In 4th, we have his Ferrari teammate Carlos Sainz, who obviously got his first race win for Ferrari last season, and I just think it'll happen. I think it'll happen again. I think he'll have a very good campaign, maybe get a few wins. I just don't think it'll be as dominant from Max this year, and I think it'll be way more open for drivers like Carlos Sainz to pick up some wins and a lot more podiums than he did last year. So I'm very happy that he will. I'm the owner of this channel, and these 3 are my new 3 channels. And on this channel there's going to be lots of this sort of videos, and also just fun playing games with me and my friends. So if you like what you see, like and subscribe for more. Back into the predictions. It was a tough decision, but in 3rd place I've decided to put Lewis Hamilton. I think he's going to have a very, very similar year to last year. It's just a shame that he didn't get a win last year. I think he definitely deserved one at times, but Max was just so good last year. He was unstoppable. I do think he will get a win this time out. But yeah, I think third place is a fair result for him. He's been very consistent. I think he'll get quite a lot of podiums and maybe even his first win for 2 years. And in second place, we've got my guy Lando Norris. I was not gonna put him in first because I'm just saying he had a good season last season, but there's no way he's gonna go from what it was 6th or 7th to first. I don't see it happening, and I still think that Max is the better driver at the moment, and he will get, I think, his 3rd or 4th title in a row. So I just think it's gonna happen. And that leaves Max Verstappen, to be in first place in the drivers' championship. If you would like a video of me speaking about the constructors' championship, then make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment about it down in the comments. But yeah, I just see Max doing it again. It's just how outstanding he's been the last few years, and I think he'll get the majority of wins again. Thank you for watching, everyone. Goodbye.